Hi, welcome to my bucket garden. This week's been pretty dry, so I've been watering, and I think I've got to figure out the watering. I don't know what's enough, what's not going to overwater them, what's bad for them. But these tomatoes are very happy. These three on the bottom have probably doubled in size since we put them in. The ones up on the top row are pretty happy too, but not quite as happy. It's not as big a party up on the top. But all of the tomatoes are getting flowers, and that's pretty exciting. Hopefully the pollinators will find them soon, and we'll get some tomatoes started. We're pretty excited about that. We got 6 tomato plants. Well, we have 6 tomato starts. We have 2 that are still surviving from the seed. I don't expect them to do a whole lot, but they're still there. Our beans are kind of struggling, which is kind of weird because, well, first graders can grow beans. I guess I've got them to start, but I thought they would grow like gangbusters, and they're going kind of slow. But I think they'll catch up. I think everything still might be, well, not everything. The tomatoes are okay. I think the other plants are still a little bit in shock over the transplant that went on. I tried to keep them in as much of their original soil as possible and all that, but they just seem to be a little bit slow. The peppers also seem to be kind of slow. Even one of the starts had a tiny bell pepper on it when we bought it. That pepper fell off. The flowering on them has stopped, so I think they're needing to recover, but I suspect that they're going to take off also. Our blueberries are doing really well. We began harvesting, got maybe a cup of blueberries off of them. We'll freeze those along with last year's harvest, and then this year's we'll combine them and figure out what we're going to do with them. I think we're going to make some kind of blueberry syrup. I really like blueberry syrup, especially the flavors. Not a big fan of eating blueberries straight or what is it, drying them or anything like that. I like the blueberry flavor in things, so I think we'll do that with it. Today we're going to shuffle the garden around a little bit. These 3 plants are very big. I'm sitting on a little stool. If I was sitting on the floor or on the deck, they would be just as tall as I am sitting down. So we're gonna kind of move them into the back a little bit and get so the big plants are in the back and the smaller ones are towards the front, so we can tend to them better and they won't shade one another, because most of our sun is going to follow this path. It's kind of right over my head now, and it's going to set over that direction. So we want them to get some of the morning sun or the earlier sun as much as they can. We'll also put the tomato cages on it to see, or so that they don't get too big and we can't get the cage on them. And hopefully they're going to need it. You get a lot of tomatoes on it, they get pretty heavy. So we're going to do that. The flowers are growing pretty well. My peony that I transplanted in the front yard is not doing bad, and it's not doing good. It's just holding steady. I think that's okay. I think that's a good thing for it. I wish it was flourishing and thriving, but at least it's not going downhill. Anyhow, that's about it for this week's update on the garden. I appreciate you coming by and watching this far. Thank you for subscribing if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, there'll be a link here that you can click and subscribe. I want some more subscribers. It's kind of fun to know that somebody's out there watching and paying attention to what I'm doing. However lame it might be, but we're learning, and that's what's fun about this, is learning and watching. And maybe when I'm put in charge of the food supply, when we all have to go into our outer space pods, maybe we won't all die if I can learn some more. Hopefully that doesn't happen this year. Let's give it a couple more years before we all head to Mars. I've not even learned to grow potatoes yet. Maybe Matt Damon will be in our space pod. If you know that reference, leave me a comment. Anyhow, again, thanks.